folks. Thank you for that. Now we're on.
That's
So
beautiful.
this is what I have to do to remember, folks. This is Politics Done Right at KPFT, and today our guest, of course, is Stephanie Coleman and Bruce Pollard.
You know, and Stephanie, I'm looking at your publication, and it's a beautiful. It's like a buffet, a banquet of
Yes.
of wonderful things to look at and ideas, and all sorts of things that they're happening in Houston.
Yes.
And we can find them, and this is like it's a taste of all those things that once you get a little bit of that appetite for some of these things, you're going to go find them on your own.
Yes.
And it brings it to you, and it's all happening now.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, that is what I love about this synergy. And for those, of course, it is Pledge Week, so definitely support Politics Done Right and KPFT, because what I hope, when I first started the magazine and I moved to Houston, I wanted what I guess could best be described as a KPFT experience, an idea that was inclusive, but it came from an opinion of mine, right? Like, I'm an African-American woman born in the South. I have a lens that I've experienced in life. So I want to be true to that, but I want to have an experience with other people. And when I'd go around and I'd say, look, hey, you can advertise and be a part of that, well, that does not exist. You
Yes.
cannot have 3-4 races in one publication. You cannot have 2 to 3 philosophies in this one
Right.
publication. If it's for women of this demographic and this age, that works. But it's for anything other than that, we don't understand it, and it's not gonna. So it's taken me years to finally just say, you know what, it does work, because it's working right here.
Right.
It's working in this studio,
In the studio
right,
right
now.
here. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and we were denying that as journalism. We were denying that as a business model. We were denying that as a truth, even though we lived it out daily. So when you say, like, how do we thrive? How do we support? How did we grow? I think, even to my own surprise, we're growing because we're being honest to the way we're living, and not saying we need to live the way we were told we're living, segregated, and we need to live the way we told we are, fighting, and we need to live the way we are, divisive. That's actually not the case. I mean, of course, there are those nuances, but if you think about your full day and your full week, you spend more time in community with others than you spend in conflict. And let's talk about the community with others versus the 10% conflict taking up 90% of our energy.
I
right?
see why I had her on.
Connect and communicate. That's what it's about, and to bring people together in such a way that we see what people are enjoying with each other, and those things bring enjoyment to each other, and pretty soon we're all doing better.
We are.
You know what is so important as you say that, as both of you say that, right? Is that many of us, and I think you articulated it best, it is what we want,
Yeah.
but it's what's not placed on us. It's how there are these forces that are trying to, you and I were talking about woke and all of that in the car as we were driving here. There are all these forces that are trying to put all these things into the ethos to really keep us separate. And that's a business decision. A lot of people don't get it. Now, we're not talking specifically politics done right here in politics on this issue, but believe it or not, all these issues are in fact to keep us separate, because it's a business decision that they, by sparsing things out, some can profit from it.
And we have a lot of work to do with the environment, with politics, with things to make our life better, but it's just absolutely imperative that we enjoy and get happy and together and do the good things that make us get along better in the end, and fix things along the way.
And you know what? So funny,
need
Bruce.
fixing.
It feels so much better.
Yep.
You know, it is amazing, because for those people who like hating on others, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go home and your blood boiling and you're pissed, all of that. You loving on folks.
Yeah.
There's no well, it's only good stuff that come out of it. Alistair Waters, to you. Stephanie,
Okay.
I see your humanity. That's one of our
Oh,
online,
thank you.
regulars
Thank
here.
you.
Yay! Yes, and thank you. If it weren't for you, Alistair, I would have forgotten that I didn't put it on the internet. So
Thank you.
I tell you, he can tell you about our PDR posse. We are like a collage and a team of crazy folks, good folks, all kind of folks. And whenever I screw up, every single one of them remember to tell me that I screwed up, whether it's on the right, on the left, on the middle, or anything else.
Matter.
And they make sure to let me know. So
It's a marvelous potpourri.
But anyway, folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. We're bringing you here some great content here with Stephanie Coleman, publisher and editor and founder of Tre Magazine. 713-526-5738. Hit option numero uno to give us a contribution. But we want to speak a little bit more on the issue as far as what made you, what. I've seen a lot of these publications come and go, and we've been here at KPFT for a long time. I've seen you doing this and bringing all these things for years.
Yes.
And it's still here.
Yes.
For that person that is listening to us out here that they have some sort of a business of this type, they have some sort, what would you tell them as far as your perseverance is concerned? Because there are many reasons for you to have just said, you know what, I'm a hell of a graphic designer. I don't have to do this. I can go ahead and make me six figures anywhere.
So the funny part is I've said all of that.
Right.
Right. I mean, I think you have to remember that you are human.
Yes.
And that you get frustrated and you get tired and you get, sort of disenchanted that people don't see it, or that maybe you're wrong and that you see it. So I've had those days, I've had those weeks, but I think you just have to know, and it'll call you back.
Right.
It calls you back and you quit again, and it calls you back.
Yes.
But you can't sleep without doing the work that you're called to do, and just keep doing your homework, keep evolving. I think you have to also not be so rigid with your own vision. So the magazine has taken, as you've seen, many forms and everything. It's been small, it's been big, it's been round, it's been online, it's been, I found printers.
Well, it's still online.
It's still online,
because I read it online all the time. Yeah.
But to know that you too have to evolve with your vision. And I've been amazed that I do a small book and some people love it because it fits in their pocket. Other people hate it because it's small. And I do a big book and it's the same math but a different word. But just stay the course. Know that you have a lifetime to figure it out. And if we were more primal in the way we think of ourselves, right? We're above primal behavior, but we're not.
We're not.
But as nature does, you move with the seasons. And if you're not like, I stand here only.
Right. That is something that I had to learn, and it was very difficult to learn, and that is not to be rigid.
Yeah.
Being an engineer, it is hard not to just look at things from a math perspective. Yesterday, I had somebody online. They are very rigid in the way they think about things like monetary policy and all of that, and this guy is absolutely right. And I'm sitting down there like, I know you're right, but I can't talk like that.
Yes.
Because most people aren't there.
Yes.
And whereas in the past, that's how I would be.
Yeah.
I'm no longer. So, being around a whole lot of folks that have different methodologies in the way they think, even being around, like when I see how you do your stuff, it's like, oh, wait a minute. If she can mix up all this stuff like that, maybe it's not all that bad. So if you notice right now, even on Politics Done Right, we're doing things like bringing in somebody that does nothing about politics. I had guys that come in with books that talk about many other issues as well. It changes the attention.
It changes the attention.
You know?
But that requires that openness to know that the world is big.
Yes, true, true.
Yeah, that is big. So, yeah.
And then, but you know what? The other thing, it also, I think, and you tell me if you agree, it shows you that all people are multifaceted.
Yeah.
They're not one-dimensional.
Yes.
They're multidimensional.
Yeah. And that's what the marketing, the business, capitalism, all that is really struggling with.
Right.
Because it's really segmented. It's math.
Right.
And if you look at the big publications that are dying,
right,
it's because it said you two will never be in the same room because you like this and you like that,
right,
and there's no common ground. Well, actually, there's bigger common ground than one would think.
Right.
And if you as a publication I would almost say wouldn't be lazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Actually, that is the word, right?
right?
It's easy to keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, but it takes time for me to get to know Egberto versus getting to know Bruce, sorry. Because I have to put forth the effort to say, well, Bruce likes this music in this time, but Bruce is open to this other music at this time. And
Right.
Egberto speaks more than one language, and his I have to put forth work as a publication.
Right.
That is not lazy on my part, right?
Well, you do the work.
You have to
You
do the work.
Well,
You have
it's
to do
it's
it.
it's the art. It's the way that you put the things together, and using your art, you cry out from the page, "We're here, we're together,"
Yep.
and it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, indeed.
I'm going to make you a poet.
Yeah.
713-526-5738. Option numero uno. 713-526-5738. I missed that stuff that you just put on the screen.
Wonderful, yes.
Oh, muchísimas gracias. Para ver. Oh, that's me. I thought that was somebody else. Come on, man. Be nice. Hey, folks, let me tell you what just happened. I'm gonna sink my manager right now. I'm gonna sink him. All right. You know what he did? He went ahead and said, "Hey, man, you're not raising the capital that you need to keep that darn program on air. Okay. So go ahead and raise that money."
And there are a lot of good reasons why you can invest in
Yeah.
KPFT. You can invest because you like to hear shows like us, and like Rourke before us, and like Susan later in the day. All beautiful music from our times and from other times. They're all mixed together. There's new stuff happening. And so the music is great. What's happening is good. There's political things. There are all kinds of things about health in this local area that you find out that you can get connected with. And then there's things that happen related to the arts and social. And then there's people like Stephanie who bring it all together.
I love the way you said that. Stephanie brings it all together. You look at her magazine, she brings it all together. I love it. It's beautiful. Let me tell you, folks, like I tell you, I have, I'm a damn manager looking through this darn
Yes,
window in the
please
control
pledge.
room. So let me tell you what I'd like you to do for me. No, he's pointing at me now. Don't be pointing at me. You kind of hurt my feelings, man.
And Egberto, remember, we do have that offer that
Give it.
anybody who gets a new membership during Egberto's thing, there's an anonymous donor who's going to match that $40. So I think we've only got 4 or 5 of those. Things are closing down. So if you're not a member now and you want to get an extra $40 for KPFT, become a member, please.
So what I'm saying, folks, call 713-526-5738. Let's get, I have another $500 to raise, okay? Let's beat that. Let's raise $1,000. That's right now. We can do it.
Doable.
713-526-5738. I don't care if you give $25, $40. Now we have that donor that is saying you give $40,
Give the
I'll
40.
give $40.
Yes.
So and again, remember, you don't have to do this all at once.
Right? You can make it be a sustaining membership so the money comes off on a regular basis, or you can pledge over a year and then you can give the money when you can get it in.
Absolutely. 713-526-5738. We have 2 great folks in the studio right now in Stephanie Coleman and Bruce Pollard. Let me tell you something. These are folks that are here at their own will, giving us a program, giving us direction, telling us how, like Stephanie, I'm telling you, when I see your material, the reason why I think folks need to hear from folks like you is that folks don't hear
Yes.
from people like you
Yes.
doing this kind of work.
Yes.
And KPFT gives us the ability to highlight you,
Yeah.
highlight what you've done. 713-526-5738. Again, 713. Did you just repeat that, Bruce?
Yes.
I'm your
were
echo.
you trying to memorize that stuff or something, man? I was like, am I hearing things? 713-526-5738. Hit option 1. Folks, we honestly need you right now. And you know what? I don't want to be waking up in the morning and seeing my manager's face. 713-526-5738. Give us a call, and we can do this stuff.
I'm in agreement.
Well, you took that wrong. Actually, the guy's handsome. Okay, I just don't want to see him. He's handsome, but I don't want to see him. Okay.
Hey, tell me something, Egberto.
Yes, sir.
In your political world, your orientation, is it important to eat?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well, look, we've got these rodeo barbecue cook-off tickets for Saturday night.
Nice.
Juke Joint Jezebel is going to be in the 40-plus kids cook-off team's tent, and they've donated 2 tickets. We're asking a $200 donation. You can get these tickets right at security as you check in. Stroll on back to their tent, and it's all you can eat and all you can drink at the cook-off. Houston's biggest party, and maybe the biggest party night all year in this town. We're inviting you to go for a donation of $200. You can call 713-526-5738, option 1, or go to kpft.org and click that donate button. And please do that. Help us on our way to $112,000. We're $180 shy. Someone taking us up on that gift? Well, hey, great. And oh, by the way, that night on the stage out there on the fairgrounds, the Reckless Kelly will be playing. And at 9:30, William Clark Green. 7:45, it's Stephanie Urbana Jones. And that's all at the Garden Stage. So there you go. 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Thank you for what you all do.
Yes, so glad to be here. KPFT, everyone should donate and pledge. I'm going to donate 2 memberships for this show. So I know 2 people who really would love KPFT. I believe in putting our efforts where they require. Oh, indeed. We have to do this together.
Yes.
I am honored to be here. Everyone who is able to listen, if you can pledge, if you can gather, as Egberto said, pay it out over time. But this is one of the last places we have to tell truth, to tell the story unedited. It's not all commercials. It's not a paid commercial to come through. Mm-hmm. It's needed.
Yes,
it's needed. So for those who've already pledged, if you know someone else who can pledge, for those who've already donated, not only is KPFT required, but Egberto, we need you here on Politics Done Right.
Do I love her?
We do.
I'll give you your payment later, okay? 713-526-5738. Hit option number 1. Let's blow this stuff out of the water. We don't want to go another week, my dear listeners. Even though what we made sure to do, I want you guys to realize this, okay? I think this is my 6th fund drive, no, 6th show in this particular fund drive, or 7th, I don't quite remember. But notice that we gave you a show, a program, every single one of the times as we wheeled it in the pitch-in. And if we can try to adopt that model and it works, it works. 713-526-5738. Hit option 1 and tell us that, yes, I like that. You're pitching, and I know you got to raise some money, but we're still giving you quality material even as we pitch. And how much more quality could we have had than Stephanie Coleman in here, upping us on how you can maintain as even through COVID and beyond. 713-526-5738. Option number 1. So let me see your calls with whatever you have to offer. Look, Stephanie, I want to continue talking about the magazine, but before I have another subject that I have to hit.
Okay.
Because here's the deal. We are in a difficult situation with Social Security and these other issues right now. And I think we have to spend that time. When New York Times last week or a few days ago came out with an article that tried to tell people why Social Security is going bad and why why we have to change it and privatize all that kind of stuff. And good for him. An economist that I've interviewed last year called him out. So let me go and do this, and then we'll get back to the magazine. Here's this. This is an important piece of information. Senior economist Dean Baker called out the New York Times for its false balance by allowing a charlatan to write a misleading article on Social Security. I've interviewed Baker more than once. While he is not the MMT type economist like Stephanie Kelton or Richard Wolff, he believes in a capitalist economy that does not pilfer as the current one does. In my humble opinion, the rules he would apply would have all the humane economists converge into the same place. In other words, Dean Baker, while he's a 100% capitalist, but he wants to put these rules on rent, when I say rentiers and so forth, it would have them all converge in one place. So I love Baker. Here's the deal. This is what he wrote. Guess so, since it gave Brian Riedel, a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute, plenty of space to say things that are extremely deceptive, if not outright lies. The gist of Riedel's piece is that it will not be possible to sustain Social Security and Medicare without tax increases on the middle class. Much of the piece is the standard line about an aging population posing an impossible burden that we have been reading about in the New York Times and elsewhere for many decades. For example, Riedel includes an old favorite. The ratio of workers supporting each retiree, which was 5-1 back in the 1960s, will fall to just 2-1 by the next decade. This is, of course, largely true, but the deceptive part is that most of the decline in the ratio of workers to retirees took place long ago. The ratio of covered workers to beneficiaries have dropped to 3.2 to 1 by 1975. So that big drop has already occurred. It has already occurred for decades, folks. It hovered around this level until the baby boomers began to retire at the end of the first decade of the century. The ratio of workers to retirees is now down to 2.8 to 1. It is projected to fall to 2.4 to 1 by the next decade. Are you scared yet? Remember, all you got to do is raise the cap on Social Security, and all of that goes away. But Riedel didn't tell you that. Riedel also tells us people who live until age 90, a fast-growing group, will spend 1/3 of their adult life collecting Social Security and Medicare benefits. There are two problems with this assertion. First, the people who live to 90 will be disproportionately higher income workers. Many will have delayed collecting Social Security benefits until they are 70, age 70 or close to it. Also, if they continue working and have employer-provided health insurance, Medicare will not be the primary payer until they retire. If adult life starts at age 18, then we're looking at people who live to 90 collecting benefits for a bit more than a quarter of their adult life, 20 years out of 72 years. But more important point is that life expectancies have not increased for everyone. In fact, the life expectancy in America has declined since COVID. As a recent report from the Congressional Research Service documented, there has been almost no increase in life expectancy at age 65 for workers in the bottom of the income distribution. The story of increasing life expectancies is overwhelming, a story of higher income workers and living longer. Look, that's just the excerpt from the piece, but I don't want you to look at the technicalities of what I just said. That's some of that was technical. What I want to inculcate in your mind is that there's nothing going bankrupt in Social Security if we do what we need to do. Don't let the politicians try to fool you. Rich folks don't pay Social Security taxes. After 100 and, what is it, Bruce? 140?
140, yeah.
After 140 or so, that money goes untaxed. Taxed, what's that?
I was just writing down, trying to figure out whether this is going to make a big difference. And they're going to maybe have to raise taxes a little bit, but not so much to have everything balance out.
But here's the deal with the thing that we've magically caused, and the folks that are listening out here, I don't want you to concentrate on anything technical I say. I want you to look up on, and don't take what I say on faith either. Look it up. But this is what I want to tell you. There is enough money in the system, especially from those who rigged the system. Again, remember, most of our wealth is held in the form of what we call capital, and the income from that capital, they are not calling it income so that it's not taxed, okay? Now, you own a house, you know what happens? You pay capital, you pay taxes on that. But nobody wants to pay taxes on the $2 or $10 billion they own in stocks. They don't want you to pay capital on that. So folks, I want you to not vote when you're voting for folks. I don't want you to listen to when they say, well, I got to go and cut your mama's Social Security got to go down, or else, or we got to privatize Social Security, or else. All of that is false. we'll talk about that another time because we have a much more interesting guest in the studio with us today. But I wanted to get that piece across because I think every time we are on the airwaves, it's not only an honor, but it's a responsibility that we use it to do what's right. And when those commercials that you watch on TV every day that's paid for are trying to convince you against your own interest, you have a radio station here in Houston, a media station here in Houston that owes nothing to the corporatocracy, owes nothing to the advertiser. It only owes to you, our supporters. That's why we ask you so kindly to call 713-526-5738 and join Stephanie in becoming great donors to this station. Stephanie is a part of the station, a donor of the station. She's everything at the station. Bruce as well, great supporter of the station, but we need a continuous flow of support over and over again. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I'm going to be shutting up in a little bit to give you guys a chance to talk. 713-526-5738. Option number one, folks. We definitely, honestly require your support. Take it away, Stephanie.
Well, I agree with you. I'm going to say that number two, 713-526-5738. That option one makes all the difference. Where else can you go to find truth and story for your own betterment? It's not for the sake of the announcer. It's not for the sake of you. It's not advertisement. It is really information that you give because you care about the residents of Houston, the residents of those within earshot on YouTube, wherever they are globally. Facts are what you're sharing. So I'm going to add to that. Call the station, make the pledge. Be there both for your own self-interest in order to fight those who are working against your self-interest.
Or go on the web, kpft.org, and then you can donate there, or call it 713-526-5738, option one.
Option one.
Option number one, and there are some offer. Oh, by the way, folks, you know, Politics Done Right has a nice T-shirt. I didn't design it, so it's nice. Okay. I mean, I didn't design it, so it's nice. It was done by Robin, and the O in KPFT has, the O in Politics Done Right. See, I'm getting old. Right. The O in Politics Done Right has our logo, the KPFT logo, designed by Robin. Come on, 713-526-5738. That is a contribution of $100, and remember, you can do this over time. You can say, I'll do 8 something a month. Is that something like, you're the math guy, 8 something a month, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. 713-526-5738. Option number one. Option number one. So please support the station. Stephanie,
yes.
All right. Now, as far as your magazine is concerned, tell us a little bit about, wait, go ahead.
So I'm just interested, how does somebody get one of these things?
Yeah, so we have expanded. Technology has fused. We put them in stores and places all around the city, from libraries to restaurants to grocery stores to radio stations such as KPFT. But we have also expanded to where you can now buy them online through Amazon.
Oh.
So this is a soft cover book. You could go to our website, thetreMag.com. If you want one, we could sort of send them out if you're not in this area. But a hardcover book is now available as a coffee table collector's book through Amazon.
That is great, because this does so much for this is, and you said, I'm out of the third ward here in Houston, but it's interesting because I went through this stuff and saw that it covers all over the darn place. And, it is like, I think it is, I think when we're talking about what we do in, that business to social responsibility field, you don't get to do that commercially. And it, when you see something like that, you say, it can work. It can
work. But it's a dance, right? So this artwork is a local artist on the cover. The talent, the stories are national and international, because Tre is a microcosm of the planet.
I saw KPFT in there too.
KPFT is in there as well. Because the Tre is more of the spirit of the people, of a certain sort of collective consciousness, than just a physical location, right? There are people who share a value system. So I remember bringing this to the Dominican Republic, and the people who I met wanted a copy, and I was like, it's like really in English, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to learn my Spanish here, but they could relate to the feeling of it, even if the language was a barrier.
The pictures are not in English. The pictures are in, what were they calling that,
beautiful, man.
Esperanto? I mean,
Yeah.
they just, like I said, it's just a beautiful buffet that, you just want to eat another page.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's beautiful to hear, because I've always hoped that the humanity would shine through.
Yeah.
Right? That the fact that we have more in common would shine through.
Well, so there's just more to you than just a graphics designer.
Yeah, there's a little more.
There's a heart full of love.
Yeah. Like I said, by the way, Eric says, hi, Bruce.
Hey, Eric.
All these are the part we have all this big posse out there that I go, at 3 o'clock, we'll have a rumble going.
And we go at each other pretty tough,
pretty
too.
heavy.
Yeah.
I'm the middle of the road guy, so I'm
drives
trying
us
to balance
crazy.
what's on the left and the right, and then that fulcrum point is so sharp that I don't know where I am from one moment to the next.
713-526-5738. Folks, we need your support.
Yes.
Por favor, llamen 713-526-5738. And we'll be here to serve you. 713-526-5738. I know we can do it.
Yes.
I know we can do it. And I know, you know what else I know, Stephanie? These people are tired. They're like, my God, they just got through a political season. And that political season drained them. Every single politician was out there saying, give me, give me, give me. Then we have all of us here saying, give me, give me, give me. I have one answer to that. That politician, a lot of times, yes, they need your money, but too often they take your money and go to high-priced consultants, Here, you have all of us that drive in on our own dime,
Yeah.
Let me give a nice word to Sandy for a minute, because Sandy is here 7 darn days a week, and he's not getting paid. He's a manager of this place. And all he's trying to do is we need to raise this money to keep this door open. We just got a new place open. And look, it's some hard work. He give us hell. Sometimes we want to slap him around and so
he
forth.
He gives us the look of consternation.
Yes, but deep
that's
inside.
part of the that was the part of the master's program.
Oh, is that it?
Management. Yeah.
Oh, is that it? Okay, but anyway.
You actually have to.
Wait, Sandy, I wasn't done talking about you, Sandy. Could you let me finish, please? I know you always want to talk, but give me a chance, brother. Okay? But anyway, so again, he's a good manager. I mean, he's been out here busting his butt in every faction. And let me tell you, we got an old house, and we got an old house back together as a studio. And Stephanie, you've been coming in lately to see how much work has really gotten done over the years. And I can tell you, a lot of us came in and worked, but this man has been here killing himself all the time. So, I mean, it's worth giving the kudos to the guy. He's trying to get this amount of money to keep this thing going. Could we please, let's get it going. 713-526-5738. Okay, Sandy, go ahead and say your piece. I see you etching for the damn mic.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, this is an effort by everybody, and a large group of people, yourself included, your guests included, all the people that have called in, all the people. I got Rico over here board hopping today. So many volunteers are here to power this community media station. All we're asking is for the opportunity to pass it forward, pass it to the next generation. How important is it to be unfettered by commercial interest, by the dollars being bought by somebody? Air this and air that. I think the most shining example, Egberto, is what's going on with Fox News.
Oh, yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
They could be bought very simply. Larry Winters used to say, spare change can't be bought, but, oh, by the way, how much you got? I think he had a point there.
That sounds just like him, man. That sounds just like him. 713-526-5738. Again, that is 713-526-5738. And I see Bruce is itching to tell you something as well.
My poem, Egberto, for today is You Can Pay Your Way.
Ah.
Pay your way. We're trying to help you pay your way. We got to pay our way through life. And this is a good way to do it.
Yes, it is a good way to do it. All right, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738, and I'll do it slower with the option 713-526-5738. 526-5738. Option number 1. Now that we've given you a lot of kudos about this wonderful magazine that
Yes.
you've had out there for quite some time now, let's talk about what kind of advice you give to people who want to make a difference in community, because your magazine is instantiation of what you are doing for community. And I mean, like I said, you could make a hell of a somebody with this ability to create this. You could make a hell of a lot of money for somebody else right now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about community. Why is it that you are doing this?
Well, you know, I think the interesting part is you look up and realize that you have a capacity to see things differently. And with seeing it, you do have a responsibility. And I went to one event. So with the magazine, with media, you're in a bunch of different places in one day. And so I went to a community center event that was mostly African American at Shape Community Center in 3rd Ward. My next event was like in the Woodlands for suburban Republican housewives for something. Like it was,
Right.
it couldn't have been more polar opposite.
Right.
But they had the exact same agenda.
Exactly.
Right? Because the African American community in 3rd Ward had received, let's say, a certain type of issue with justice, with sort of poison in their community and that. Then I go to the other side with the judges and the mothers in Memorial and the other individuals in Woodlands who have the same dilemma, but it's hidden in these big houses, right? Who have the same dilemma with their children who were losing to opioids. It was the same story. And I was like, if they could just realize beyond the barriers that divide us,
Exactly.
that they have the exact same fight, right? And they have the exact same hurt and the exact same injustice. If we could bridge those conversations. So I would sort of complain about, if people would just know it, if people would just say, and someone said, and I was like, if someone would just do something about it, and someone said, you, right?
Exactly.
Why don't you do something about it?
Exactly. Exactly. I got a familiar story, but I'm not going to talk about it. You keep on it, girl.
Right, but that's the thing. And the magazine gets credit, but it's really the work of the people that are in it. I get credit for curating it. But when you read the Tre, it's you, right? It's you. It's the listeners. It's people who are doing things on a daily basis, from the 8th grader who's helping to give food to the food bank to the 88-year-old who is also still fighting this good fight for environmental justice. What we try to do is not have the talking heads, not have the celebrities, but remind you as a mirror back to yourself that you are the change you've been waiting for. Like you are actually doing the work that we have sort of given responsibility to someone else. And if you can see it, if you can look and say, oh, I know her, I know him, I've seen him, or that's someone's cousin, you can be empowered to realize we are moving the needle, right? We're moving it one day I'm going to find this image. But there's a picture, it was something in the Middle East, and there's hundreds of mothers and children, like as far as you can see. And the cameraman is on top of this wall. And on the right-hand side, the left-hand side is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Like they go out of the frame. And the right-hand side is 2 men holding the door back. 2 men holding, it was like a food bank that they were trying to get into. And if those people knew how strong they were individually against these 2 men, the willpower that we've begun to release and say, oh no, but this wall is too big and there's this big machine. No, it's all the will of the people against percentage-wise 2 and 3 people.
I want you to find that picture, because that is something that makes a lot of sense even for when we're doing our programs here, because that is the biggest fear of, right now people don't want to talk about critical thinking and all the critical race theory and all these issues, right? The biggest fear is that people see who a lot of times we were and say that's not who we are. This is how we were, that's not who we are.
Right.
And in saying that's not who we are, we start to really come together.
Yeah.
You know how scary that is?
Yes.
For those who depend on us being the you know how scary that is?
Yes. That is the part why even one pledge, one donation, one drop makes a difference, because there becomes this overflow
Yes.
when we all sort of unite around the one good thing that we believe in, right?
Right.
We can be different on a lot of levels, but you cannot deny that what you're doing on KPFT, what KPFT, that one drop in this bucket is why we're still here, because someone gave 5 years ago and someone gave 8 years ago. That is why we have a chance to talk about Social Security, why we have a chance to really make a difference. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be one drop wherever I can be. And I think if the listeners would just really know that, contrary to the way the other media makes you feel that your voice doesn't matter, that here on KPFT, one drop in Tre, your one drop, changes the way the world rotates.
That is absolutely true. 713-526-5738.
And we talk about the ratio of donors to listeners, and sometimes it's a lower number, but every donor and every person who's a potential donor think that when you donate, you're giving this gift that you're enjoying to all these other people that eventually the time will come that they'll be able to give back to.
Yeah.
Exactly right. 713-526-5738. Option number 1. Folks, this is a time now we get a little bit heavier on pitching, so please give us a call at 713-526-5738. Option number 1. We're still waiting to be able to tell somebody, hey, guy, thank you so kindly. It's not happening yet. It's been rather, from what I understand, a difficult morning. So I know it's rainy out there. It's gloomy. So, since it's rainy and gloomy, just give us a call. 713-526-5738. Option number 1. Support what provides that the real meat on the bones, if you will. I mean, bringing in somebody like Stephanie, bringing in somebody like Bruce, folks that are actually, they're active in activism. They're active in supporting things to make lives better for us all. 713-526-5738.
So,
Option
Egberto,
number 1. Yes, sir.
I don't think today I said please, but please, Sandy says it all the time. Please and thank you for helping us, help you, and share with you. Make sure you tell us what you want, and make sure you find the person next to you who shares the same interests, the same kind of music, maybe doesn't know KPFT's there, and help them, guide them down to that dial, and give a little donation along the way.
Thank you so kindly. Persuasive Barrier is also in the house. So, hi, Persuasive Barrier. I guess I'll see you at 3 again, brother. Anyway, 713-526-5738. Option number 1. So, Stephanie, thank you very much, Persuasive Barrier. Yeah, let's go ahead and say, before we're coming close to the end of the show, and we're going to do a little bit more pitching. So what I want to ask Stephanie, first of all, is give us a closer and a word of wisdom, because I tell you what, you're a wise woman. And
and Egberto always says, what didn't we ask you that we should have?
I love my brother. I love my brother.
I stole his line, right?
Right, and he did it in front of me, man. He did it in front of me, man.
The ultimate cheap shot.
Okay, but actually, answer his cheap shot, please.
Well, I think what you didn't ask is the same thing that we ask of our listeners. What more can you do, right? And I think that's what keeps me going, is that you both and the listeners in KPFT and those who read would ask me, what else can I do more? What else can I do better? What else can I do to help, so that I can go back, and I need to look at that always.
It's Gene Hackman in the Poseidon Adventure. After all the things that happen, he looks up and he says, what more must I do? Why are you asking me to do all these things? But once you do them and you take a deep breath, the joy is there.
Yeah. No, it really is. So I think what I wasn't asked is what else can. And I think my assignment is always to look back and say, how can I be better next time I come on air? How can I have brought more support next time I come on air? How can I be a bigger drop, more drop, bring other drops? And I just want you, the listeners, to hold me accountable, that I can keep rising, that we can keep growing, that I can stay honest, that I can stay true. Because it's easy to waver. It's easy to look at a
No
check
kidding,
and
yeah.
say, so why am I doing this again?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's also hard to sleep when you compromise it all. And I'm not against, funding. I'm not against people making prosperity. But if you can make a difference as well as make prosperity, then I think we're living a good life.
That is Stephanie Coleman. So she's no stranger to us here. She's no stranger to Politics Done Right at all. Folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. We have another show that's coming in here, so normally we have to break about a minute or so earlier to get them all situated. 713-526-5738. Option number 1. We want to thank some of you on air. We know that some of you are doing it online, but we'd love to be able to call and thank you on air. 713-526-5738. So look, Bruce, thank you so kindly for coming in here.
Egberto, thank you. And Stephanie, you made my day. It's great.
Thank you.
That's her, man.
She's the day maker. Yeah.
I'm going to put that on my card.
Yeah. Stephanie Coleman, Tre Magazine founder,
That's
publisher, and what is it?
Daymaker.
Daymaker.
Second day in Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah. We got 3 minutes. So let me say, folks, 3 minutes for you guys to start calling in and making a difference. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Option number 1. Come on in, folks. 713-526-5738. All right, Bruce, give me a closer.
A closer. Well, 713-526-5738. I didn't even have to look at my notes. Option 1, please. And we're glad that you're listening. We're glad that you're sharing with other people. We hope that you go see Stephanie's magazine, Tre. It's a beautiful work of art, and it makes you feel good when you look at it.
Awesome. Yes, definitely. I'm going to add
closer.
to that. I'm going to add that kpft.org for those who are all checking on their phone. But really think about this show. Really not only watch, not only listen, not only, whatever device, because Politics Done Right is the most tech-savvy show I've ever been on. Like
E227 is there to promote you too, girl.
Hey,
E2247.
wonderful.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank
Anyhow, but let me tell you something. Like I tell folks, this is not the Politics Done Right belongs to the community, really. And Bruce can tell you.
We've got a lot of things to talk about in the future. We got to work out this environmental issue that we're faced with. We got the politics that we got to do right, right?
Yeah. And then we also have community, and that is, not everybody loves politics, though we need everybody to have a stake in politics. Not everybody loves all these different features, but they have to be in there. And what I like about your magazine is that it puts it all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
It puts it all together. 713-526-5738. Extension número 1. ¿Cuánto tiempo tengo? 1 minuto nada más. Okay, we got 1 more minute. 1 minuto más.
Come through on the minute.
Yep.
Come through
Yep.
with the support.
she
Like you
sings
can
too.
do it.
Yes.
Well, I can.
713-526.
You're tone deaf.
57. I'm tone deaf.
No, if you're tone deaf, you'll love my voice.
713-526-5738. Option number 1. Okay, folks. And you know what? I know after we get off, you just wanted to keep hearing us. That's why some of you didn't call. So now that we're going off air, throw that stuff in right now. But do remember, put Politics Done Right so it can say, I got it.
And we all know COVID's happened, life happens. You can still donate while you can. $10, $20, $40, it all adds up.
My name
Be
is
safe.
My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what?